Heyo, Omnidogs and Omnikittens. It's Omnidog here. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Or as my friend Freddie said me to say, muy apreciado. And I do. We've come to almost the midpoint of 2022. And I've read a lot of books. And I'm going to give you the best, my favorite books of the year so far. These will be 4 and 5 star books on my Goodreads, and some of the 4 stars may get bumped up to 5 upon rereading, but all of the 5s are pretty solid 5s that upon further rereading, they'll stay 5s, I think. If you're tuning in to get recommendations from me because your tastes are similar to mine, you probably already own some of these books. If you don't like my recommendations, you should tune into that crappy comics channel on YouTube. He'll have something for you. That is a good idea. I could have a crappy comics channel and just do nothing but lame comics. Just a second, I'm gonna write that down. Okay. Yeah, tune into that channel. So let's get going. What was good? And I'll try to hold up the books long enough for you to get a good idea of what the art's like. If I don't do it long enough, I'm gonna try and hit like 2 or 3 seconds worth. If it's not enough time, you let me know in the comments. First up, Beta Ray Bill by, Argent Starr. I thought it was Agent Starr this whole time. Argent Starr by Daniel Warren Johnson, who's like becoming a superstar with just a few books. People are crazy about him, and with good reason. He writes great stuff. He doesn't write any of that crappy crap on that other comics channel, whatever it is. This is the story of his origin, along with current adventures. His ship with his crew passes into a different dimension, and Scuttlebutt, becomes a kind of robot android that's still his ship, and takes him through a journey on what his past was like and how he became the horse-faced god, Thor, Asgardian type creature that he is. The art is by, now I don't, wait a minute. Now, did Daniel Warren Johnson, okay, he did draw it as well. Okay, I know that wasn't 3 seconds, so I apologize. 1,000, 2, 1,000. I think 2 seconds is plenty. So this book has a ton of heart, ton of adventure, humor, and it gives you a brilliant, beautiful origin on Beta Ray Bill. And Daniel Warren Johnson, you'll hear his name again coming up in a little bit when I do a review of another book. But suffice to say that this book is awesome. I love it. And I'm not going to go super in depth on all these, or it'll be a 50-minute video. And some of them I've already reviewed, so I'll refer you to those videos. But here we go. Last shot of Beta Ray Bill. Art is great. Story is great. Beta Ray Bill. Well, this is the best story I've ever read about him. So, of course, I haven't read a whole lot of Beta Ray Bill, but it's a great comic. This won't surprise anybody. The Ghost in You, the Reckless book, featured by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, who are pretty much perfect so far for me. I've at least liked or loved. I loved everything I've read by them. Now this features Anna, his purple or pink-haired assistant, where she ends up taking a case because Nathan Reckless is out on another call. So this is all about Anna. Now the Minister of Comics really liked this, but it was not his favorite Reckless book, which shows you how different people can be, which is fine because this is my favorite Reckless book because I love Anna. It introduces us to her kind of off-the-wall mother, her upbringing, And the story is quite compelling. A woman comes in who is the Elvira of her era, hosting a TV show. She's much older now, and she's inherited a haunted house that was purchased after the original owner died because there was a murder in the house, and taken over by nuns. It's like peeling back the layer of an onion, a Brubaker book is, and this is no exception. It's good. Joe Goose and I are going to review this, and the next book I'm going to show, Parker Martini edition, Last Call. We're going to review this on a future crime story, more in depth. You can't go wrong. Anna has more and more personality in these books. She's inquisitive. She's got an excellent punk rock sensibility about her. She does love punk rock, which is part of what I love about her. And she's good at tracking down clues. Great story. Don't want to spoil it for you, but she has to deal with, of course, her mom and her mom's new boyfriend, along with dealing with the case and several other things. Brubaker's great at introducing people's real lives into his character. It's not just solving the crime. Part of it is her own life and its problems that come with it. So, great book. This got 5 stars from me, as did this book, Parker Martini edition, Last Call, by the late great Darwin Cooke, who, this looks like a self-portrait of him to open the book. You've got 2 long, brilliant stories about Parker, the thief that was written by Donald Westlake, aka whatever his name really was. Oh shoot, now I'm blowing it. Donald Westlake. That was the pen name of the famous Parker writer. Somebody. Oh, I'm sure it's here in the back of the book, because it turns out it was besides getting all this great material, all the last 2 stories of Parker that Cooke worked on, I mean, you get a lot of it, and it's done in this kind of orange hue. The first orange theme for the first one, and then the second one's done a little bit of a bluer theme. And they were both great. The first one I read was one of the best things I've ever read as far as a detective book goes. I'm sorry, a crime book goes. I get crime and detectives messed up. And don't worry, I'm going to figure out who Donald Westlake's real name was, because I'm going to turn to it in just a sec, because I'm going to show you some of the back matter that's in this book. And also it has a story by Brubaker and Phillips called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And it's a Grofield story who was an accomplice of Parker's, and it's done in this darker blue. Whoops, I don't want to show you that because that'll give it away. I can only show you a little bit of it. Darker blue hues. A bonus feature anywhere. This was great to find in the Martini edition. Okay, so blubbity blubbity blah. It also contains a huge interview that Scott Dunbar did with Ed Brubaker and Bruce Timm, where they were reminiscing and telling Darwin Cooke stories. So the book is really a huge tribute to Darwin Cooke. And it's got, you know, a ton of it. Don't skip it because it's great. And here it talks about how hard it was to get the rights to do Parker, to let Donald Westlake give him the rights, and what the heck? All right, it's in, oh wait. Oh, Westlake is, his favorite writer is Donald Westlake. It is Westlake. Okay, what was I thinking? I don't know. It was Donald Westlake. I thought he was writing under a pen name. Wrong. The only thing that I wish this book had is there's tons of people in the industry pictured in this book, but they don't say who they are. I mean, Darwin Cook and Ed Brubaker and Bruce Timm, I know, but then there's a lot of other people. Some you can recognize, but I wish it would have come with captions of who the people are. And so now is when you go to the comment section and say, Jess, you idiot, it's Googleable. And I'll say, thanks, but you didn't have to call me an idiot. Anyway, 5 stars for Parker Martini Edition, Last Stand. Super amazing, great tribute to Darwin Cook and his brilliant writing and artistry. We come to another 5-star book, Decorum by Jonathan Hickman. I have referred to this as the Hickmanisty Hickman that ever hicked, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's got fabulous art that I had to go back and reread this first part after I finished the book, and it made a lot more sense. But it's got tons of charts to help you navigate the solar system that this is set in. It is about the solar system's, this particular solar system's greatest assassin and her courier protege that she takes under her wing. She sees something in this sort of kind of just everyday courier that she thinks can be turned into a legit assassin. It is tightly written. It's got humor. It's got fabulous art. It's the adventures of the courier and the assassin, how they meet, what happens afterward. The assassin takes the courier to assassin school on a planet, and she's the least qualified of the assassins. She's never even killed anybody, but for some reason this person believes in her. There are a sisterhood of protecting the Messiah that's come from an egg. They guard the egg, whatever their name is, it's not important. They guard the egg. They're a key part of the story. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but they're a key part of the story, how they have an egg that hatches, and the AI in this story is considered the god of this universe, and the Messiah that will be born out of this egg is a threat to this AI. And more charts, more graphs. This is Hickman. I mean, you know. But the art is so great, and the story is super compelling, and it ends with the a very good possibility that this story will continue. It's fine if it doesn't. It ends on a point where you're okay with it. If it just ends right there, but it's an open end, so it does lend itself to a continuing story. Loved this book. Loved everything about it. Highly readable. Lots of fun. Don't miss the chance to get this book. It's really fantastic. Speaking of robots, which nobody was, Mark Russell, of course, is a killer writer, and he wrote Not All Robots. I don't know if I've done a review on this or not. I feel like I did earlier in the year, but if I didn't, here's my review. This is one of my favorite books so far this year because it contains a story with Mark Russell's signature satire on society. How's that for alliteration? Humans have progressed to the point in the future where they do nothing and robots serve them. But robots are also in charge of the judicial system and the police. And the robots have sentience, can think for themselves, and have a bit of an attitude that people are starting to get a little worried about. This is a story about a family and their robot, what happens to their robot, what happens to an underground revolution by the people the robots serve, who makes the robots, what the makers of these robots have to gain. It's everything you want in great social commentary, biting satire. It's got humor, it's pretty bloody, a lot of killing, great art, but I loved it. Once again, that's Not All Robots. And I have some Hoopla books at the end that you're going to have to bear with me on, because I got to flip through my iPad for that. Now, last week I did Hidden Gems. I did these two books. If you want to get further into the Minky Woodcock series, you can check my library out and see what I had to say about these Hidden Gems. The girl, Minky is a private investigator. The first book is, okay, I can't show a lot of this. There's some nudity, there's some sex, there's some violence, so I can't show too much of it. Well, I can't show a lot of it, but this book has to do with Minky forming a partnership with Houdini. Houdini is a debunker of spiritualism, having seances to try and contact the dead, as well as an escape artist. And the author, Cynthia Von Buller, throws in a lot of historical figures into this book. It's well written. Let's see, is there nudity here? Yeah, this is okay. So this book I would give a B+. The next book I give a solid A, The Girl Who Electrified Tesla. And as I said, you can get a more in-depth review when if you check my library. This one is Minky in the 40s. The first one's in the 20s when she's a flapper. She has a drinking problem. Now she's in the 40s, and she's hired to find out if Nikola Tesla actually has a death ray. And it's much more than that. Josephine Baker's in it. Nazis are in it. It's really rather amazing, the progress that the creator has shown in this book from the first book. I love them both, but this book is clearly the solid, better one. You should read the first one, though, to get a handle on Minky's past because of her relationship with her father and her brothers, stuff like that, her drinking problem. So both of those are great. It's me. It's Omnidog. So there has to be a Harley Quinn book on this list, of course. No Good Deed. This takes place, I believe, after the Joker War saga. It's got great writing by Stephanie Phillips. It's a bit back to the roots of Harley being funny, being a do-gooder. I read Sam Humphrey's run again, and I like it a little better than I did the first time. I think probably the problem was it followed the Palmiotti Connor run, which is the run that made me fall in love with her. This book has her after the Joker War saga. She makes a deal with Batman that she's going to try and clean up whatever mess she made in that book, which I haven't read yet. But you don't need to. The one question probably for people is the art of Riley Rossmo. He's kind of an odd choice for Harley, but I got used to it, and because the writing's so strong, it didn't take me out of it. You will want to give this a chance if you're a Harley fan. If you're not a Riley Rossmo fan, he draws issues 1 through 5, and then there's a guest artist in the 6th book. And they include, the first story is from Batman Urban Legends #1. It is solid return to the hijinks and fun with her and her new crew that we all came to know and love in the Palmiotti and Connor run. Stephanie Phillips is doing a great job with this book. Your only issue is probably going to be Riley Rossmo's art. Some people like it, some people don't. I got used to it, and I liked it fine. This is 4.5 stars. I can't give it 4, can't quite give it 5, but it's a solid 4.5. If you're a Harley fan, you will love it. Trust me on that one. Okay? Okay, good. Here's where I mentioned Daniel Warren Johnson again, and that's in the best anthology I have read in a long time. Superman Red and Blue. Now, the conceit of this, there was Batman Black and White, where everything was in black and white. This one, everything's colored red and blue. And there is not a bad story in this. Everything is at least really good, up to incredibly good. Daniel Warren Johnson's story and a couple others made me legit tear up. They don't go over the same thing, over and over again. They break new ground, but they sort of all have the central conceit, if you will, of hope. That Superman represents hope. It's brilliant. I thought this book was just the best anthology, as I said. I think you should really dig it if you're a Superman fan. If you're a fan of good writing, if you're a fan of stories with heart that make you think, that are thoughtful, and even make you tear up. I'm a softie, and when it comes to some of these Superman stories, especially Daniel Warren Johnson's story, I got legit choked up. Whoop, I don't want to show you that one because that shows the ending of a story. I got legit choked up and had tears running down my face. So I love this book. I gave it 5 stars. If you don't like it, I kind of feel for you, because this is everything I want in a comic book. Now, these next 2 I already made a video of, so I made it back in February or March, my favorite 2 books of the year so far, so I don't want to run them into the ground. Just alert you to the fact that you should get these: The Many Deaths of Lila Starr and Barbaric. I'll just go over these really quickly. Check my library out for a deeper review of these 2. I don't know what's going to displace this from number 1. I can't wait to find out what I'm going to read that's better than this year. It's by the fabulous Ram V, and it deals with the Hindu religion, Hindi, I guess, is plural for Hindu. I'm sorry, I'm not sure about that. But the goddess of death gets kicked out of the realm of gods because a child on Earth grows up to create immortality. So she's lost her position. So she goes down to Earth, asks to be sent down to Earth since she's gotten kicked out of the pantheon of the gods, and she takes over the body of Lila Starr, who is currently in the morgue, and it's told, all the stories are told as sort of like one, each story stands on its own. They're all a bit connected, kind of. I liken it to Day Tripper. This won't evoke the sad feelings that somehow Day Tripper, while being a brilliant book, also left me feeling sad. This is really more of a celebration of life, even though it's the many deaths. She, continues. One is told from the vantage point of a cigarette that is being smoked. And she wants to initially go down and be reincarnated on the ground at the time of the child's birth that's going to create immortality and kill that child. Turns out she can't, and the book is the story of their relationship as he ages and she intertwines through a series of coincidences. Brilliant. My number 1 book. Barbaric. This is about a barbarian who gets cursed by 3 witches. He loves, okay, can I show this? Yeah, art is fantastic. It's by Michael Morecci, with art by Nathan Gooden. He gets cursed by witches that he can only do good from then on, because he's a barbarian. He loves wine, women, and song, and trashing people, killing people, stealing their women, stealing their treasure. But he gets cursed to do only good. He gets a talking axe that's bloodthirsty, gets drunk on blood, meets a witch that falls in line with him and helps him. This book is a laugh riot, great adventure that I can't wait to read more of. I'm going to buy all of these books in hopes that you guys get a huge oversized omnibus someday. I can't wait for that book. I need to read this as it comes out in these hardcovers. But wow, this is, so far, it's in my top 5. I don't see how it could be moved out of my top 5. Humor, drunken acts on blood, barbarian, witch. It's kind of got it all. Curses. I mean, it's brilliant. The next one, we reviewed this. I'm not going to say a whole lot on this because we reviewed Batwoman on the Omnicat show, Omnidog and Omnicat, every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. So you can go into the vault, Omnidog's vault, look in my library for a deeper review. These are the fabulously written and fabulously illustrated stories of Greg Rucka and J.H. Williams. Rucka leaves the book, J.H. Williams takes over, and then J.H. Williams, of course, leaves the book, and it gets wrapped up in a very rushed, but all the ends get tied up final issue, which, of course, left no one satisfied, but it sure is a good read until then. Batwoman is easily one of the most interesting characters. Some people can argue, because they're Batmaned out, that she's more interesting than Batman. I get it. So check out my deeper review of this book with Omnicat. We did it about a month ago, sometime in May of 2022, I think. Terrible cover, I know, boot, whatever. But it's a great Omni. And now you'll have to bear with me while I go to Hoopla, the library service here in the US. Okay, the first one I'm going to talk about, hold on, is Carmen, which got recommended to me by not one, but 2 viewers who know their stuff. This is, I can only show you the first few pages because, well, the art is fantastic. Guillaume March wrote it and drew it. Let's see if I can get a little closer. Tells the story of a little girl named Kat with her buddy that follows along. They don't talk much about their past relationship in the beginning. And I don't want to go too much further than this because it'll spoil it, and she's naked for all of it, which it's not sexual. It's just, just check this art out, how good it is. Come on, Jess, get it straight. Because she takes her life, and an angel, Carmen, is sent to her. Here's what Carmen looks like. Where's a good one? Whoop. This is what Carmen looks like. She's got freckles and she has on the skeleton suit. Ostensibly, this is an angel that is to guide Kat into the afterlife. This angel, Carmen, has a special reputation, apparently. And this tells the story of the relationship between Carmen and Kat and the things that Carmen shows Kat, what the repercussions are up at the home office where the angels come from. And wait, can I show this? Yeah, I can show this. What the repercussions are up where the angels come from, where Carmen comes from. Easily a 5-star book. Easily 5-star book. This is solidly in my top 2. So let me go back to the Kill Lock. Wait a sec. Where's the cover? I'm just as bad at this as I am at all technology. Come on, give me the pages. Okay, Kill Lock. This is about robots who have, in a robot society, that have committed crimes. And it's 4 of them that are exiled together off planet. And they all have a kill lock installed on them. If one dies, they all die. So they are 4 very different robots with very different crimes that have been committed. They want to get the kill lock off, so they try to find the inventor of the kill lock. And it shows how human just these robots really can be, but they also have very robot-like tendencies. It is told so well and so interestingly that this is a 5-star book for me. Kill Lock. It ends. It's a one and done book, and the designs of the robots are fascinating and amazing. That there are 4 very distinct, different personalities on these robots. The crimes they committed were quite different from one another, but they've been exiled, and there have been other robots exiled that you get to meet throughout the story that also have kill locks on them. So I dug this book a lot, and I think you would too. Next Hoopla book. Okay, that would be... Okay, I have to get the cover. Come here, you. Yes. King of Spies. With great art by Matteo Scalera. And Mark Miller seems to have recovered his groove with this and Magic Order that I'm going to be reviewing. The new Magic Order. The first book of Magic Order was fantastic. This tells the story of a super spy for Britain, Great Britain, the UK, super spy, assassin, and all the terrible things that he's done throughout his career. He is an amazing super spy that is highly trained and is dying. So this tells the story of how he spends his last few months on Earth taking out the people that really need to get taken out. And these, of course, are like governments that sanction murder and rich oil barons or whatever. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's the people that he was protecting through his government job that he decides to get revenge on in the end. It's also very touching. It has he has a ex-wife that he hasn't seen in years, a son he hasn't seen in forever, a series of lovers. He's very much a hard-drinking, hard-smoking man about town, James Bond type of character who's at the end of the line. And it's great. Mark Miller does a great job of this. He seems to have really come into his own recently again. And I dug King of Spies. I think I might have given that 5 stars too. If I didn't, I might upgrade it. And then the final 2 books that I read are 2 books of a series called That Texas Blood, as recommended to me by the Minister of Comics, who loved these books. We'll go to book 1 first. Resume, yes, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always at the end. This is by Chris Condon with art by Jacob Phillips, who is Sean Phillips' son, colors most of those books that he does with Ed Brubaker. But he definitely has his own style, which is great. And this first one is is a story that deals in murder and revenge, taught, well told. Both of these books are taught and well told. Deals with a small town sheriff in Texas that thinks there might be something in the soil in that Texas town that attracts evil to it. That's kind of one of his theories, because a lot of bad things happen, and we're just up to book 2. So this is the first one, which I will give you the name of in 1 second. It is called Volume 1. No, wait a second. It has a name, I thought. Ambrose County. Okay. First one's called That Texas Blood. The second one That Texas Blood Volume 2? Oh, okay. They're just called that Texas Blood. This one deals with the same sheriff recounting his earlier days to a new deputy in the county, how they are tracking down, this is back 1981, he's telling his deputy over breakfast and coffee what happened back then, and it deals with missing children, an evil cult, a haunted house, but it's not your typical cult story. It's quite graphic and really moves along fast. I'm trying to get to that. He always suffers flashbacks from previous things that he's done. So if you see a break in the action, it's his having flashbacks. So he's telling this story about what it was like back then when they found the body of a young child, his sister's missing, and this kind of eccentric private investigator shows up to try and help him solve the murders, because the child's found in a field full of bodies. And the private investigator is kind of the star of the show here, even though it's not his book. He's the one with the info. He's the one that believes in what he's doing. He's there to track down somebody else that's involved in the cult. It's really well told. What a great crime book. I highly recommend that Texas Blood. Both books are great. And I'm going to end there because we're running up. Oh my gosh, it's 36 minutes. I hope I kept everybody. So that's the first books that I loved through the first half of 2022. So please go to organicpricebooks.com for $2 off using code Omnidog and 5% off your order. Omnidog Ship It Together. That's all in the bottom of my picture here where the description is. You'll find those links. So peace and love, peace and love. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. You're all the greatest fans anybody could ask for. Thank you so much for watching, and good reading to you. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Yes, peace and love, peace and love.